What's going on, guys? It's Brent from Team Draw Better, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be running some test hands for Maliss. Now, before we get into it, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh! And without further ado, we're going to jump straight into it. And before we do our test hands, like always, we are going to shuffle the deck up nice and good. Another thing before we get into the test hands, I did tweak the deck a little bit. I swapped out the Sky Striker engine for more Bestials and Crossout Designator just to help the plays go through a little bit more. The Sky Striker engine is more so to help with going second, but I kind of wanted my plays to go through a little bit more, hence why I swapped for more Bestials. So we're going to shuffle this up, and let's see what we get. Have our opponent cut us. Oops. And let's see what we got. We got Allure of Darkness, Imperm, Maliss and Underground, Nibiru, and Chessy Cat. Okay. So this hand is actually really good. So we have multiple options to start here. I think the first thing you would want to do here is we do have a dark in hand. So we're going to start with Allure of Darkness. Now, your opponent could Ash this, just to prevent you from drawing two. But a majority of the time, that isn't going to matter. So we're just going to have this go through for now. We're going to draw our two cards. We get another Imperm and a Dormouse. So that's even better, to be honest. And then the monster we're actually going to banish is going to be our Chessy Cat. Now, being banished, like all Maliss monsters, that's going to trigger Chessy Cat. We're going to pay 300 life to special it. And we're going to use the effect to banish a Maliss monster from our hand and draw two. So we're going to banish the Dormouse and draw two more. And we get MTP07 and a Crossout Designator. So we have 6 cards in hand. We're going to use the effect of Dormouse, pay 3 to summon. And now we're going to use Dormouse's effect to banish our third and final Maliss monster. We're going to banish the White Rabbit, and that's going to trigger the White Rabbit. Pay 3 to summon out. Now, before we go into our Link 3s, what I've been doing recently is going into Link Decoder early. So what I would do is I'm going to link off Dormouse into Link Decoder. Then we can go into our Red Ransom. Oh, forgive me. Actually misplayed a little bit there. Before we do that, before we do any of that, I forgot White Rabbit's effect on summon. This is why we test, to make sure we remember our plays. So White Rabbit's going to set a trap, and it's going to be the TB11 because that's going to be our best extender. Now we can go Dormouse into Decoder, and then we can link these 3 off and go into our Red Ransom. Now, we do already have the field spell in our hand, but we kind of want to bait out any sort of hand traps. So we're going to activate Red Ransom's effect, just in case. We're going to grab another field spell. Now, we did use all 3 of our Maliss main deck monsters, so that is the only unfortunate part, but we are still going to activate the field spell now. Then we're going to activate TB11, banish the Red Ransom for cost to summon out a Maliss. And it doesn't matter too much which one, but we are just going to summon out Dormouse. Then on res of that, we're going to pay 9 to summon out Red Ransom and then banish a Cyburst from our deck. And the one that we're going to be banishing is our Dotscaper, which will then trigger its effect to summon out. And then we can use these 3. Summon out our White Binder. And White Binder effect, we can set a trap. And the one we're always going to be setting is going to be our GWC06. So we can set this. Oh, and we did actually use Link Decoder to go into our red ransom. So Link Decoder would still be on the field when you would go into your white binder off of your other monsters. So this would be on the field because it would come back, because when we did make red ransom, that is a 2300 attack monster, so that would allow this to come back, but it would banish itself when it leaves the field. So what we can do now is we can, I think this is okay for now, but just in case, what we're gonna do, we're gonna link these away. Link Decoder will get banished, this will go to grave. We're gonna climb up into our Nightmare Griffin, just to put a little pressure on our opponent. And then we have all these options to set, so we're gonna set both imperms, the MTP07, and the crossout designator. So we have a full back row, and we're ending on Griffin. Not the best placement, because we don't want our opponent to summon a monster to the zone it points to, but it is what it is, because we would just pass to our opponent here. They would go draw phase. We would ask anything in draw phase. They say no. Okay. We're going to activate our GWC06 to summon a Maliss from Banished or Grave. And the one we're going to summon out is, of course, going to be our white binder. And then our white binder will trigger. And we're going to target the red ransom, the dormouse, and the white rabbit. We're going to banish all three. And then we're going to pay a total of 9, 12, 15 to summon all three. So we're going to summon the red ransom here, dormouse, and white rabbit. White rabbit effect on summon. Actually, we don't have a target because we do have the MTP set already, so we wouldn't use the effect here. We do have nib in hand, and we do have 2 set imperm and a crossout. So if this is a mirror match, crossout is really nice against the mirror match. But we are set up pretty well, because if our opponent wants to activate any special summon monster effects, it has to be in front of the Griffin. But they can normal summon. So even if they normal summon and they use an effect, we do have an imperm. We do have double imperm as well. But let's just say they special summon a monster and it doesn't have any sort of summon effect. We could immediately go MTP07 and we could add a Maliss from our deck. Doesn't really matter which one right now, but just for some bonus draws later on our turn, we're going to add a Chessy Cat. And then because we control a link, we can banish a card on the field, and we can just immediately banish that special summon monster just to get rid of it. And then we do still have the imperm and crossout just in case. So because we did activate monster effects, let's say our opponent would go talent, we can cross out talent because we do have a talent in our deck. Because we did play into talent and thrust, unfortunately, so we can just negate it with crossout. And then our opponent would pass to us, because what else could you really do in this scenario? Assuming we would use the second nib, if anything. So they pass back to us, we would get a draw. That's an amazing draw. And honestly, we wouldn't even have to go that crazy into anything, because what we can do now is we can immediately just link these two. Keep in mind of the Nightmare Griffin. We go into Access Code Talker. Access Code Talker, target the White Binder to gain 3,000 attack because of its link rating. And then we could go Access Code Talker, banish the White Binder to pop any card on their field. They can't respond. It's Access Code Talker. Then this would trigger White Binder. We would pay 9, summon her back, and draw a card. Another Ash Blossom. So then we could just immediately push for game here because there's more than enough damage on board. And then we could even get more with the Bestial. So, yeah. There's always multiple routes when it comes to this deck. There is never one route. Unless you get Lancia'd, then that's a little tough. The deck, unfortunately, does kind of lose to Lancia. It's the only thing that really, truly kills it. But other than that, it's an extremely strong deck. We're going to shuffle this up again. It's nice and shuffled. We're going to put all of our extra deck monsters back. And let's see what else we can get. Shuffle this back. And our decoder. All right, so our opponent's going to cut. And let's see. So we start with a Chessie, a Bestial Saronir, Dormouse, Druid Worm, and White Rabbit. So this kind of hand is just full gas. Just full gas. Because now what we would do is we don't want to get greedy and normal Chessie, because honestly, if we do normal summon Chessie Cat, that is going to force us out a little worse, I would say. So what we could do here is we could normal summon the Dormouse, attempt the effect. So again, if our opponent imperms this, we're sitting okay because of the both Bestials we have in our hands. So if they imperm this, that's fine because we could just do the same thing. We could link it away for Decoder. And then we could go Druid Swarm, target the Dormouse, banish it, summon. Dormouse effect, pay 3, summon itself. And just like that, we can go into our link 3. So that's not too bad. We do not have the field spell this time, so we are going to go into Red Ransom. And then our link decoder will come back, but it will get banished next time. Red Ransom is going to add our field spell. We'll grab Maliss and Underground. And now we actually don't have to get too greedy with our plays here, because what we can do is we can link down, go into SP, target the Red Ransom to banish it because we used a link monster, and actually the link decoder will get banished as well. And then that'll trigger the Red Ransom to pay 9, summon itself, and banish a Cyburst from our deck. So that'll bring out the Red Ransom, and then we can banish a Cyburst. It's going to be the same thing. Just because we don't want to overuse our Maliss monsters yet, we're going to banish a Dotscaper, and then that'll will trigger, summon itself, and then we can go into our White Binder, use its effect to set a card. And we can set TB11 because we haven't used that yet. And we haven't used White Rabbit yet, so we can always set the GWC off of White Rabbit. And then we can activate TB11, banishing this for cost to summon out a Maliss. We're going to summon out the Chessie Cat just to start getting a little more of our Maliss monsters activations. And then on res, we can pay 9 off of White Binder. Our opponent can cut us before we draw. So White Binder, pay 9, and then draw a card. Terraforming, okay, it's not bad. Then we can go Chessie Cat effect to banish a Maliss in hand to draw 2. So the one we banish here is the White Rabbit to draw 2 more cards. And we get another Druid Swarm and a Talent. So then we pay 3 for White Rabbit. And White Rabbit to set. Now we would set our GWC. So just as a scenario that you can easily run into, because this deck summons a lot. It really does. So let's say you get nibbed here. They Nibiru. Okay. That's sort of okay, because these would get tributed. You would get your Nibiru token, assuming in defense, because it's going to be pretty big attack. So what you can do here is we did not banish. I don't believe we banished a Chessie Cat. No, because we summoned it off of the trap card. So we can actually punish a little bit for them nibbing, because what we can do, we can go Saronir, target our Chessie Cat. Where is it? There it is. Banish to summon. And then we can pay 3 for our Chessie, summon that out. And then we can link the token and these 2 away. And go immediately in for our Heart Scriptor. So you can still end on, and because if our opponent nibs us here, that will make talents live. So you can activate talents, you can either draw 2 to see what other cards you get, you can take control of the nib to climb higher into a link, or you can look at their hand and get rid of any engine that they possibly have in their hand. So I think in this scenario, I would personally draw 2 just because I want to see more hand traps in my hand. So we're going to go effect to draw 2. And we got a Gold Sark and a Nibiru. Okay. So we get to return the favor with our own nib later on. So that's fine. As far as these other spells, we could activate Underground. We did use all of our main deck Malisses, so nothing will happen if we banish one, but we can activate it because they are forced to attack the links. And then for Gold Sark, we can set as a bluff, and we can also set the Terraforming as a bluff just to make them think a little bit more. So we have Druid Swarm in hand, Nibiru in hand. We would pass here. Go to their draw phase, same thing. Ask them if they have anything in draw phase, nothing. Then we'd activate GWC. Summon out the White Binder. And then on summon, the White Binder will target the Dormouse, White Rabbit, and Red Ransom. Banish all 3, pay 15. Summon all 3. Summon this here. Summon the Dormouse and the White Rabbit. White Rabbit effect on the summon to set MTP07. And we're still set up pretty good because we do have the Bestial just in case they want to do any Fiendsmith plays. We do have the MTP set, so we can banish a card on the field and add another Maliss, and then we do get another banish off the Heart Scriptor when we do banish that card. So again, pretty solid end board. It's not bad. We do have a Druid Swarm. We do have a Nib just in case we go through everything else. So we are sitting pretty with this as well. So we're going to clean this up and go on to the final test hand. And I think with this one, we're going to go second. We're going to shuffle this up. All right, and bounce these back to the extra. All right. So let's say we are going up against Ryziel. Going second. We get an Ash Blossom, Imperm, Allure of Darkness, a White Rabbit, and a Crossout Designator. Okay, so this is fantastic because our opponent's going to go first. They're going to start doing their plays. They're going to normal summon Ice, grab X, etc., etc. As soon as they go Duo Drive to grab the field spell and another monster, we're going to Ash the Duo Drive every time. So actually, I think it would be better to Imperm, just to play around talents. So we're going to Imperm the Duo Drive to play around talents. There's a little bit more they could do, but I mean, I don't want to say too much. It depends on how desperately they needed the field spell. But we're probably going to end up using the Ash at some point, and then they're going to pass to us. So if anything, they're going to end on a Duo Drive and maybe 2 set cards. Assuming 1 set card's an Imperm, we're going to draw our card. It's a Druisworm. That's fantastic. So we can immediately just start with Allure of Darkness. If they go to Ash Blossom this because they see 3 cards in hand, we can just cross out to banish our own Ash to make sure it goes through. And then we can shuffle it back up before we draw our 2. And this is completely free because we do have the White Rabbit. So our opponent's going to cut. And then we'll draw our 2. We got another White Rabbit and a Nib. So we're going to banish the White Rabbit. And then White Rabbit effect will pay 3. And then on summon, set a spell or trap. And we're always going to set the TB11. Okay, now we did banish the White Rabbit with Allure of Darkness, so we can't Bestial it anymore. We can, but it won't do anything. So what we can do here is we can activate TB11. Just to get out another monster, we're going to banish this. And we're going to go for the effect of Dormouse. After the summon to banish one. Banish our Chessie. Chessie effect, pay 3. We don't really want to banish a lot of our White Rabbits, but I'm going to get a little greedy and go Chessie effect to draw 2. We can cut before we do, just to see what we get. Okay, so another Allure of Darkness and a Bestial Sarnier, so that's not terrible. So what we could do now, we banish the Chessie, so we can link off Dormouse. Same play, link Decoder. Then we can go effect of Druisworm, target Dormouse, banish to summon. Dormouse effect, pay 3. And now we can link these away. Go for our Red Ransom. So you could go chain 1 Red Ransom, chain 2 Bestial Druisworm to remove the Duo Drive because it was sent. And then this will add the field spell. Grab Maliss and Underground. Activate this. I forgot about Link Decoder again. That's why we practice, though. That's why. All right. So before we go into White Binder, we can crack another Allure of Darkness. Draw 2 cards. We get a Baldrake and we get MTP07. So in this scenario, we can just banish the Sarnier because Baldrake's a little better. Now what we can do, we can go here. We can do our White Binder. And now we can go White binder effect because Duo Drive was the only monster. But assuming there is an imperm set before we do White binder's effect, we're going to set the MTP, not in the imperm column. But we are going to attempt White binder's effect. I just flipped all those cards. Whoops. We're going to target the red ransom and any Fiendsmith cards or anything like that in their grave. If there is nothing Fiendsmith related, then just target some Rizio monsters because we did use all of our Maliss at this point. So we're going to banish this. And then we're going to go red ransom, pay 9, and banish the Cybers from deck. Banish our Dotscaper. Dotscaper effect. And then White binder effect to set our GWC06. All right. So now what we can do, we can link these three. Go for Heart Scripter. And then we can go into our battle phase because the board is clear. So we can go battle phase. We can activate our GWC after we swing for 25 with our Heart Scripter. Then we activate GWC, banish for cost, summon out White binder. Effect of Heart Scripter, pay 9. It'll summon back, and it'll be a 5K, and then we just swing 23 and 5K for game. So, yeah, that's essentially it. This deck has a lot of draw power to it as well, so there's really no issue with getting more cards into your hand to disrupt your opponent. It's relatively easy to OTK as well, because if you have Maliss links on the board and you haven't used any of your traps yet, you can just set your traps, go into the battle phase if your opponent has no more monsters from you clearing the board, and you can just attack with, say you don't have Heart Scripter. You just have White binder and red ransom and one of the traps set. So you can swing with White binder, swing with red ransom. That's immediately 46 already. You can activate, say, MTP07 to add, banish this, add your card, and you get a banish because you do control a link. So just more removal. Then you bring back the White binder by paying 9, draw a card. It's a Drew Swarm, so that's great. And then you can swing again, activate the second trap, banish the red ransom. Red ransom comes back, swing for game. So this deck does have OTK potential as well. You just got to really play your cards right. But I think that's going to do it for the video, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. I hope I was able to show you what the deck can do a little bit more. Philly Regional is coming up next month, and I do think I'm going to be taking this to the Philly Regional. Going to be my first time going to a regional, so I'm pretty excited for it. It's either going to be this or Blue Eyes, and I do have a Blue Eyes deck profile coming, so bear with me. I'm waiting on the last Primite spell. I might just make the video regardless, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you.